All right, welcome back to part 2 of our ray diagram tutorial for plane mirrors. So in the first video, we learned the rule that the angle of incidence, l'angle d'incidence, is equal to the angle of reflection, l'angle de réflexion. So I'm going to set this up like it would be in your carnet or in your work booklet, and that would just be a straight line to represent our plane mirror, like that. And then I'm going to draw an object that's going to be reflected in our mirror. So we're just going to draw a happy face. And there we go. Now with these mirrors and these diagrams, you're going to go from the top of your object, and that's by convention. So we're going to pick a point right at the top there of the head. I'm going to go up this way. You can really pick the direction you want, but for this example, I'm going to go this way. This is going to be my first incident ray. So from the top of the object to the mirror, just like that. I'm going to put an arrowhead here to show you the direction of the light. And that's our first incident ray. Now, where that incident ray hits the mirror, I need to make a perpendicular line with my protractor. Okay, so I'm going to make that at 90 degrees. So if I put my protractor, the zeros, on the mirror, I can mark off a 90-degree line pretty easy. So we'll say right there, and I'm just going to mark that. Okay, and there you go. That's going to be our normal line. To do that, we're just going to connect that with a ruler. The reason I use the ruler instead of the back of the protractor is just because the ruler has a cork back on it. Just makes it a little easier to work here on camera. All right, so we've got our dashed line, which is representing la normale, the normal. Okay, and that's just an imaginary line that's going to help us measure our angles. So this is the first angle we're looking for, l'angle d'incidence. Okay, this one right here. So we have to measure this angle with our protractor. So if the normale is 0, la normale, the normal, we're going to use our protractors and set that to 0. And we're going to measure that angle. All right. So 0 on the normal, 90 on the mirror. And we've got, what? If this is 0, 10, 20, that's 30. This looks like 25 and a little bit. Maybe 26. I think we're calling it 26. That's 26 degrees right there. Okay, so we just measured our angle of incidence, which means that our angle of reflection has to be 26 degrees, according to the laws of reflection. All right, so the ray comes in, hits the mirror, and it's going to bounce out at the exact same angle. So to do that, all we're going to do is rotate our protractor. I'm just going to pivot that, okay? So I'm putting it back here, reset where it was. We measured it to be 26 degrees. I'm just going to pivot that around like so. All right, so putting the 90 on the mirror and the 0 on that normal line, la normale. We're going to measure off 26 degrees, okay? So 0, 10, 20, 30. 26 is right there in between. And right there. Okay, using my cork back ruler again, I'm just going to trace that. So connect the dots from the mirror and where it's bouncing out. Okay. And there we go. That would be 26 degrees reflected. Okay, so we're going to label that R. Now, because this is the first full ray of light, I'm actually going to put a little subscript there. So we're going to call this I1, incident 1, and reflected 1. All right, and then we're going to do a second one. So I'm just going to go from the top of my object again, and I'm going to go down this way to keep it nice and tidy. So this angle of incidence, we're going to go this way. All right. And that's going to be I2, of course. And doing the exact same thing for this normale. set that to be 90 and 0, or you can do it this way. I prefer to do it this way. That's up to you, as long as it's perpendicular to your mirror. So mark off 90 degrees right here. Okay, I'm just going to do the dashed line again. Whoops. Okay, and calling that la normale, the normal. And of course we need to measure this angle here. All right, so we get our protractor back here. And calling that 0 on the normal, lining up that 90-degree line with that mirror. This one's going to be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. Wow, 40 on the dot. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to call that 40 degrees, like that. And of course, that comes in, hits the mirror, bounces out on the same angle according to our rule. And so therefore, this one's going to be 40 as well. So just going back to where we were with that protractor, the 90 on the mirror, 0 on the normal, and the 40 degrees. We're going to rotate that just to show you how to use that protractor. Okay, so keep the 90 on the mirror, keep the 0 on the normal, I'm going to mark off 40 degrees. So that would be 0, 10, 20, 30, 40. As you can see how I measured that. 40 right there. All right, now I'm just going to use my ruler, connect the dots, and this is almost done. Well, for this part of the video. All right, so we're just going to go down here, and this is going to be our reflected ray number 2. Okay, I'm going to label that 40 degrees and do a quick recap before we stop here. So we just started to do our ray diagram for a plane mirror. So we have our angle of incidence equals our angle of reflection, 26 degrees for that first one. And the second one, 40 degrees coming in, 40 degrees coming out. All right, part 2 in just a second.